Hey, this is Mr. Ng going over the Precalc factoring test version even taken September 8th, 2017. True or false, question number 3 below has a greatest common factor, so look at question number 3 here. That's just x times x, 7x, and 18x. You can do like 3 times 6. So they have nothing in common, so the answer is false. Question number 2. Factor out completely, so you can write out the factors if you wanted to. Do that for you. So I'm going to have 8 times 2, and then I'm going to do x times x times x. 9x is there, and 9y's. I'm going to ignore the math symbol operation, so 8 times 3, and then I have 6x's there and 7y's. And over here I can do 8 times 2 and then 3x's and 2y's. So then I'm going to go through each of these and determine what they have in common. So they have an 8 in common. Circle it there. These two have a 2, but this one doesn't, so I can't do that. 3x's, 3x's, 3x's. So that's x times x times x is x to the third. And 2y's, 2y's, 2y's. So y squared. Then I'm going to write what I don't have in circled, 2x to the 6th. This will be y to the 5th. So that was not, how many y's did I do? 9 of them. And I took out 2 of them, so that should be 7. Can't count. 7. And then over here, I have the 3. My math operation is minus. So 3, x to the third, y to the 5th. And then over here, I have the 2 that's not circled. And that 2 is separated by the minus sign. So 8x to the third, y to the second, this is your greatest common factor. And that would be choice B's, double check, 2x to the 6th, y to the 7th, minus 3x to the third, y to the 5th, minus 2. Question number 3, factor the trinomial. So here your A value is 1, B value is 7, C is negative 18. A times C is negative 18, B value is 7. I'm trying to think of 2 numbers, I think of 2 and 9. And when I add those together equal positive 7, so here add, and then this direction multiply. So negative 2 and negative 9, I'm going to put, now it doesn't matter where those go, make sure to add an x there, so I have negative 2x, positive 9x, and I'll just write the first term, x squared, and negative 18. And then I need to think of things that will multiply. So that would be x and x. X times something equals 9x, which is 9. And another way of thinking about this puzzle, just do the last one, that's negative 2, is going in this direction. Their greatest common factor is an x, greatest common factor is a 9, greatest common factor is an x, and greatest common factor is a negative 2. So that'll be x plus 9. That's positive, and x minus 2, which is choice B. Question number 4, I'm going to first distribute, so that'll get me 3m squared minus 13m equals negative 12, and you just add 12 to both sides, because to solve, it has to be equal to 0. And then once it's equal to 0, there's your A, B, and C. A times C is 36, B value is negative 13. 2 numbers that multiply to be positive 36, yet add to be negative 13. Those will be negative 4 and negative 9. There they are. And you need to think of something, 2 terms that will multiply to be 3m squared. So here's the trick is, you know it's going to be 3m and m, but you don't want to replace the 3. Look ahead. 3 is a factor of 9. 3 is not a factor of 4, so don't put it there. That would be a common mistake. Negative 4 times m gives you negative 4m. Negative 3 times 3m gives you negative 9m. And double check, negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12. So I have m minus 3. And 3m minus 4. So this one says solve. We've set it equal to 0. You factored it. Now you do the 0 product rule. You set it equal to 0, and then you solve, add 4, divide by 3. So you get 4/3 and positive 3. Question number 5. If you factor this, what would you get? The answer is, although there's 2 of them, this is the most simplified answer, A. E, although they are those 2 binomials, this is the best one. Question number 6. Same thing, factor. So I have A is 3, B is 2, C is negative 8. A times C, there goes your B value. You're going to multiply to get those 2 numbers. Add to get those 2 numbers. Here's another strategy. Is you take this number here, 24, forget if it's positive or negative, and just write out all the factors. And I like to put the larger number on the left and the smaller number on the right. So 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 4 times 6. There's no 5s. And then 6 times 4 would be the same thing as 6 times 4, right? So then, because the bigger number's on the left, you can kind of go subtract. So that'll be 23, or you can add it to be 25, 10, or 14, 11, or 5, or 10, and 2. So the 10 and 6 minus 4 would give us 2, so 6 and negative 4. So you take those values, put in there, add an x. And then your first term goes on the top left, C term goes on the bottom right. And when you're solving that, you'll get 3x minus 4, x plus 2, which is D. You get 3 points, 2 points for writing your first name and last name correctly and circling the correct period. And then there were 6 multiple choice times 2 points apiece, which would be 12. So 3 plus 12 gives you 15 for that side. Turn to the back side. This one says solve by factoring. So free response directions, make sure to show all your work and box your answers. So box them. To solve, you need to set it equal to 0. It's not, so move everything over. X squared plus 6x plus 9 equals 0. Factored it. X plus 3, x plus 3. You get x plus 3 squared. Now, if you did set that equal to 0, there's 2 ways here. You can do square root. Alright. So, you could do 0 product rule, set each of those equal to 0, solve, you get x equals negative 3. Negative 3 is a double root, that's why there's essentially 2 negative 3's here. It only touches the x-axis once. Question number 8, you need to set it equal to 0, because it needs to read ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 standard form. Set it equal to 0 by adding 10. 1, 7, and 10, you can't have an x squared there, and you can't have a x there. AB, solve the polynomial by factoring. We solved it by quadratic formula. I gave you guys 1 point. Read the directions. When you factor it, x plus 2, x plus 5, set it equal to 0, x equals negative 2, and x equals negative 5. Question number 9. You want to set this equal to 0, so I would subtract 15x, and you get 6x squared minus 15x equals 0. You could use factoring by a trinomial by adding a 0 there, or just realize that there's a greatest common factor of 3x. Set each of those equal to 0, and you get 0 equals x equals 0 and 5 halves. If you just got to solving equal to 0, I got you 2 points, 3 points. You factored it but didn't do the 0 product rule, or maybe you only got one solution, x equals 5 halves. If you did get a common factor, I wrote CF, but it's not the greatest common factor. Here's an example, 24x plus 80. Take out a 2. 2 equals 12x plus 40, but here there's another common factor, and that would actually be a 4. If you take the 4 out, 4 times 2 is 8. 8 was the greatest common factor. Question number 10, this one just says factor. So first thing I'm going to do is look for my GCF. You'll notice that there's a 2x there. 3x squared, negative 2x minus 8. Here, if you, this is now your A, B, and C. This is your GCF, so you don't need that, but keep it. A times C, your B value, two numbers that multiply to be negative 24 but add to be negative 2 are 4 and negative 6. Same thing we've been doing. Take those two, put here, here. First term, now inside your parentheses, and your last term, and you'll get x minus 2, 3x plus 4. If you forget the 2x, I gave you minus 1, so that'd be a total of 3 points if you got like something like that. If you just found the greatest common factor, you only got 2 points. That side is 4 multiple choice times 4 points is 16, plus the 3 points from the film link is 19. Turn the page like that, and you get 15 plus 19, that gives you 34. Hope the quiz corrections were helpful for you. Have a great day.